social and emotional learning is not just important for young people. It is important for everyone that wants to have success in the particular endeavor that is in their life. But we are talking about it in the context of young people, right? And so I will go through and I'm going to talk about SEL, social and emotional learning, and race from the child and from the adult/teacher background, so you can model good SEL behavior to your kids. And for you that I know that are parents that are out there, this is important for you as well, for having young kids. No matter what age your children are, you can start improving their core competency, and we'll get into the 5 core competencies in a moment. Now, check out this data is very interesting. I thought it was really, really fascinating. The first thing off, by 6 months, as it regards to race, by 6 months old, children I start telling the differences between facial features and stuff like complexion, eye color, hair length, and things like that. They can start telling the difference between colors. Now listen at this. By the age 5, there's research that has been done with pre-K and with kindergartners that have identified racial bias in 4 and 5-year-olds. Okay? And I'll tell you a book that you can get that talks about that particular study. It is amazing. By 12 years old, the worldview of an individual is pretty much set. And after that point, the older they are, the more difficult it becomes to change that worldview. So the important thing is to start talking about race and social and emotional learning core competency strategies as early as possible. And we're talking about as early as as early as birth through 2 years old, 3 years old. That is the most malleable age for a person, is 0 to 3. From what I understand, they will learn 80% of the things that they're going to need in their life in the first 3 years of life. And I find that really, really amazing. But that's important. The other thing here is suspension rates. And we're talking about the data and why SEL and race is important. The Department of Education in 2013, 2014 did a study of 85% of the students of the schools in the country, and found out that Black students and Latino students were disproportionately suspended at a higher rate than their white counterparts, and found out that Black students in particular were suspended 4 times more likely than their white counterparts. And so the reason for me doing this Zoom webinar is because using SEL, we can mitigate in our schools, in our classrooms, in our learning communities, this type of disproportionate, punitive events that are happening to our students. And the other thing, in a project that has been going on for over 20 years now, called the Implicit Project, done by Harvard, you can take what's called an implicit association test, and I'll talk more about that in a moment. And it showed that 70 to 75% of people that took this implicit association test had negative bias toward African American men. Let me say this again. This implicit association test that's given by Harvard, that hundreds of thousands of people have taken, and it's talked about in a book that I'm going to show you on the next slide, have 70 to 75% negative bias toward African-American men, okay? So SEL can help to mitigate those things, and we'll talk about how that's done in a moment.